Guys, today we're gonna talk about some disappointment I had in my latest fragrance discovery. Unfortunately, not everything is pink and full of unicorns in this world, so sometimes I do have some disappointment and I always like to share it with you. So without further ado, let's go. This is Clemence, I talk about fragrance, let's go. First disclaimer is that obviously I don't want to put down any brand. This is reflective only about my subjective opinion. Don't always take my word. It's important for you to try. And some fragrances that I'm gonna also talk about today are part of brand that I absolutely love. I'm very thankful for people that also brands that send me perfume. Usually a brand send me like an email. They want me to try the fragrances, so they will send it. Some brands are a little bit pushy. They would be like, can you do a video on it? Me, I never accept to do like videos on something I didn't try, but just to let you know, a lot of brands they want you to sign a contract before receiving a perfume. So sometimes if you don't pay attention, or if you're just like new to the fragrance game, you might do that mistake, and then after you trap and you need to do a video that you don't fully, if you don't like the fragrance that you receive after, you fuck. So basically me, I always ask the brand if they want me to do content or if they want to work together to send me samples. I never ask for full bottle. So I received some stuff obviously that I'm a bit disappointed about. Unfortunately, that's the game. The review channel should be reviews. So it's positive, but it can be negative, and I don't think I would be transparent with you if I only highlighted good points. You might notice that I'm a little bit down or very slower than usual. I've got really bad insomnia at the time. This is a little bit part of my condition, if you know. Yeah, at the moment I struggle with insomnia, so it really affects my mood and my energy. I'm sorry in advance if I'm a little bit... Voila! Is Gisada. So Gisada is a brand that is from Switzerland, in collaboration between two perfumers. Andreas Willem, very artistic kind of perfumer. He also have a brand, I believe, that is called Perfume Socks. So the second perfumer is Olaf Larsson, that did some fragrance for Navitus, for example. Most of the fragrance that he created are like from Emirates. Really funny because I did some research on the perfumer before because I didn't know him, and there's like a quote on Fragrantica. I don't know why they put that quote. A perfume should make you feel something. Yeah, that would be great. I have to say, this is gonna be very shallow maybe, but I don't want to get sued, but you know, like, it does look a bit like a little bit cheap, you know. And the price brand usually of those brands is like between £70 to £80. So voila. This one that I've tried is called Ambassador for Women. I know there's an Ambassador for Men as well that I didn't try. Sorry, I'm gonna look snobbish, but it looks a bit rough to me. Anyway. So Ambassador is a floral fragrance, and to be fair, like with the time it smells kind of nice, you know. I'm not gonna say it smells bad, but it smells nice. But it's this kind of fruity floral that makes me think of like a Coco Mademoiselle, those type of scent, you know, for women, a bit cliche. It's got nothing special, nothing really interesting. There's not really much for me to talk about, even in the ingredient. Like I don't really smell a specific ingredient out of the other one, so I can't say more that it's a fruity floral. It's okay, but for the price, I'm not really convinced, to be fair. I'm not sleeping a lot. I get a lot of migraines, and this gives me an instant little migraines. Ambassadora is orange blossom, kind of mandarin smell, very simple as well, floral, a fruity floral for women. Looks like that. Again, the bottle, I'm just like, I like when the brand also have cohesion in their fragrances, and I don't know, like it doesn't look like the brand has really like an identity. It smells like YSL Libre, like of a replica of it that is not really qualitative. There's not really depth. I thought that the lavender was really attacking my nose at the beginning, like it's like very sharp but synthetic way. I love Libre from YSL. I think like it's a very beautiful fragrance. Here, this one, I don't feel it's very classy. That's a no for me straight away. I received also a masculine fragrance that is called Titanium. Titanium is a little bit like, if you like fragrances like 1 Million, Paco Rabanne, or Pegasus from Parfum de Marly. I really don't like that. Sage, lavender, vanilla. Like the beginning, I smell a lot the attacking freshness aromas that is really like sauvage kind of thing. This is not the kind of fragrance I like to smell on a man, like very shower gel generic one. I don't mind generic, but this is a bit too much to me. And I don't know what material they used, but it didn't feel really good to me. Next, I received some fragrances a little bit in that vibe. I'd say like it's the same kind of packaging. I don't know how to explain this packaging. So the brand is called Reef. Same, they contacted me by email. They said, we would love you to try the fragrance. We think you're gonna like it. I'm really open to try anything. Like if the brand is nice and not force me to do any content, then I'm happy to receive sample. You know, if you start by forcing me to sign a contract, and I'm saying that because I had that just recently and I got really pissed off and I said like, just keep your samples, keep your fragrance. I don't want it. You can tell it's like more like a Middle Eastern kind of fragrance. Usually I like those fragrances, so no problem. I think you can find them for $15 or $30, so it's very cheap. The bottle look like that. For Nusuk, it's like a floral fragrance. To be fair, for the price, I would say I didn't like it. I like rich ingredient, I like those things, and I think you can find them for quite affordable nowadays anyway. You know, it's a style, it's not my style, but I think it looks nice. Anyway, so, and it looks heavy, it's very heavy, so for the price, you know, it's not bad at all, but it smells ultimately extremely synthetic. It smells a bit like a cheap replica of a fragrance, but it doesn't really make me think of one fragrance in particular, so that's good. It kind of disappeared. I just sprayed this on that paper and it kind of disappeared straight away, so in the longevity it's not great. But if you're looking for very cheap alternative, I'm not mad at it, and that's it, but it's just not my kind of fragrance. So I don't like to advise those kind of scents. There's not really something interesting. And there's another one that is called Majestic Rose, that is literally just a rose fragrance. This smells exactly a bit like La Vie est Belle from Lancôme. Very sweet, sugary rose. I would still prefer a bottle of La Vie est Belle, and it's the fragrance I hate the most, but I'm not mad at that packaging neither. It doesn't have longevity, it's not really interesting. I don't think it's gonna be very flattering on skin. I don't think it's gonna be very flattering in terms of longevity and performance and stuff like this, but it's alright, you know, a generic kind of woman fragrance. They've been very sweet about it, because I replied to the message and said, I'm sorry, but I don't really like the fragrances, and they were like, oh, it's okay, but we're working on some new fragrances and we hope you're gonna like the new one. So that's very professional, I have to say. It's not always the case. Next, so I received a huge package recently that I've put on my Instagram. Carner, Barcelona. Carner is a brand that I like, from Spain obviously. They do like very nice fragrances, especially like, I would say they have a collection of like more warm fragrances that I didn't really explore, so I can't really tell much about this one. But there's the lighter fragrances that I have to say, if you like fresh, especially seaside, you're gonna like this. I think those fragrances are really well done. This is not the most mind-blowing brand I've ever smelled, but I appreciate the brand. One of my favorite of the brand is called Tardes. I highly recommend you to try it. It's unisex, it smells extremely fresh, but you have a milky tone to it that is incredible. Actually, I advised my boyfriend to go on holidays. He's back in Hungary for a few days, and I told him like, take a bottle of Tardes, because it's so nice when it's so warm like this. Anyway, there's one fragrance in the range that I was not convinced about. It's called Supermoon. The bottle is so pretty. I like this kind of colors. I like the wooden top. I really like this, you know. It smells a bit like some kind of fragrance you're gonna wear with a nice outfit to play tennis. Pomegranate type of smell with a lot of cassis, like marmalade kind of smell. So it's interesting. It's not thick at all. It's actually really light on that fragrance. It's nice. I like it, and I think I'm gonna wear it from time to time, but I like to put myself in the consumer point of view here. For the price, I was a little bit disappointed about longevity and performance. It doesn't really last long, and it's not something that is gonna really project. I know on citrus and fresh scent is kind of difficult to do sometimes. I think it's around 130 euros or stuff like that. And I feel like for me it was overpriced for that kind of scent, because it's very light. It's too simple for that price to me. I was expecting a little bit of a kick, you know. Pomegranate and wild strawberry, mandarin, you have water lily scent. I honestly think that it has much more depth, and if you like pomegranate, you might enjoy this one. It's also like much more powerful, much more juicy. I don't know why, like some people have been like a little bit harsh with that fragrance, but it smells more green than Supermoon, but I absolutely love it. Next, from a brand that I really loved, and I am gonna feel some disappointment from some of you guys, because I know like some people have been like doing some really great review about that fragrance, but I'm sorry. The brand Roja, and God knows how much I love Roja, and I think the perfumer Roja Dove is one of the most prolific and the most talented perfumers of those times. He worked in Guerlain as well during so many years, and you can tell that he does fragrances that are a little bit more classic, I would say. Sometimes, because sometimes he goes crazy. Some of my ultimate favorites are in Roja. A Midsummer Dream, guys, especially for summer, resinous, aromatic, chef's kiss. And they launched a new fragrance that is called Elysium, and this is the women's version. So you have the masculine version that is basically a really well praised masculine scent. Like the fragrance you gotta reach like for like a Bleu de Chanel for any occasion. It works, but it's a very beautiful fragrance, very refined. I really like it. This is the vibe that they wanted to get with the women's one. Like a floral, blackberry, freesia, magnolia and musk. When you use like freesia and magnolia, usually it gives like a very romantic tone to the scent. Freesia is not really a flower that I all the time appreciate, because if you treat freesia in a certain way, it looks a bit dated. Very qualitative. It nearly smells like a beautiful Chanel fragrances, that's for sure. Like for me, it's this kind of timeless, floral, very, a bit cliche feminine, I would say, but it's beautiful. There's a hint of blackberry as well that gives a little bit of a juicy, syrupy kind of tone when the fragrance open. You open in some citrus, you have a heart full of white florals, and then it dries down to a little bit of sandalwood, which is a very classic composition, very beautiful. But the price point for this is like very elevated as well. But you know, Roja, I know, and you can smell it. Like it's so rich, it's a bit dense, it's a complicated formula as well, and you can really smell it because it moves with the time. It's not too linear, so it's very beautiful. I'm very happy to have it, but I would have never purchased it by myself. I also found that it doesn't really last on my skin too much. It smells déjà vu, beautiful, but it's just not up to my taste. I'm looking for something more original for that price, but that's latest addition to commodity fragrance, a US perfume brand that I dearly love, because some of my favorite as well are in that brand. They feel a little bit synthetic, but very nicely done. I think, you know, there's a difference between crap synthetic and actually good synthetic in perfumery. Synthetic doesn't really mean that it's bad, because a lot of accord that are created by perfumers or by manufacturer are actually synthetic or reproduced synthetically. It doesn't mean that it's bad. There's some that are really qualitative and have a lot of density that moves with you, that feels very round and enveloping, just like a natural ingredient would, and even more. Just on this fragrance, it feels a bit flat. Like when you do realistic things, even though if you have to reproduce synthetically, because just to let you know, to make a juice, a fruit juice in perfumery, most of it is synthetic, because you can't really extract the smell and the oil of a fruit. Of course, it's going to smell synthetic and stuff like this, but it's just when I'm seeing the word juice, I'm expecting like an explosion in my face. This pressed orange juice, like it's very bitter, it's very juicy, it's something that's going to give you a kick of adrenaline when you're going to smell it. Again, I like the fragrance, but I'm a bit disappointed. It's a very serious juice to me. Strawberry, raspberry, rose and rhubarb smell. Rhubarb is one of my favorite ingredients. I love the fact that it gives something a little bit green and also very bitter and captivating. The rose is actually really good, and you can really smell that they use a nice quality of rose on that one, I have to say, because it's a very blossoming and rich rose. So that is a good point. With the time, for me, it feels a little bit too flat again, and it feels not very sparkling. It's not very vivid. You know, like when I'm having a juice, I want to feel that it feels a bit too serious to be juicy. Juicy is bubbly personality, fun personality, and here I struggle to see that in the fragrance. Despite those negative points, I actually like the fragrance. Commodity fragrance, you have usually 3 versions of the same fragrance. You have a personal one that usually come in white packaging, more in your personal space. It's not going to be a huge projection. They change the formula a little bit all the time for each of the fragrance, which I think is really good. It's a really good idea, and I love that concept. And you have also the bold one that is going to increase maybe some different ingredients that are going to be more warmer, especially in the base of the fragrance. So you have that. For this fragrance, usually I like the expressive better, because I think it's a great balance. Like that the most. I tried the 2 other one. To be fair, I didn't like them, so I found they were like not really interesting, and you can tell, like, for me, that there was less time located in the creation than this. I hope you enjoy this video. I wanted to ask if you would prefer to have a review on the Kylie Vacay in a bottle set, which is 4 fragrances for summer, une NUIT NOMADE full review on the brand, which is a brand I really love, with fragrances like, for example, like Sugar Leather. Tell me in the comments, une NUIT NOMADE or Kylie. And if you watch this video until the end, you can type the word juicy. Okay, that makes sense, no? And I will know that you watch this video until the end. That's very supportive, because the more watch time a YouTuber have, the more view it gets. And you know, at the end of the day, I need to leave, you know? So don't forget to subscribe if you're new here as well. There's only half of you that are subscribed, and the most of you are just watching my video without being subscribed. That would be hugely appreciated. Hope you have a lovely day, and see you soon. Bye now.
Je t'emmène dans mon paradis bleu.